today to share another one of my favorite techniques that can be done with simple materials that you have around the house. Newspaper, sculpture. What you need is some newspaper, a roll of masking tape, and a scissors, and that's it. This is something that's really fun and that anybody can do. What I like to do is get my tape ready. I like a piece of tape around that size, and I'm going to put a few on the corner of my table so it's ready. What can you do with newspaper? My question is, what can't you do? Let's say I wanted to start with a head. This could be turn it into an animal. I could turn it into a person. I could turn it into a planet. I can do so many things with it. So making a sphere ball is very easy. And of course, if you want it to be bigger, the more you crunch that paper, the more volume you get. There you go. Another shape that's very easy to make, and you can do a lot with it, is take 2 sheets of newspaper opened. I'm just going to curl it from the end here. And you can make a cone shape, or you could make something really long. You can make a really tall structure. What could you make from this? Many times I've had kids create swords or guns. Sometimes allowing a child a safe outlet for aggression and some maybe pent up anxiety with parental guidance, I can see that it can actually be a good tool, but that is up to you. Now, what can we do with this? I could attach this and then start creating a body. And what I love about using newspaper for sculpture is there's no limit on the size that you can make. So often if I'm working with somebody who's in a hospital room and feeling very confined, a lot of us are feeling confined, use your creativity and create a monster. This is also a safe way to look into the things that may frighten us, things that we might not want to talk about. Art therapy is a safe way to express concerns, worries, fears by making them tangible. When you create a drawing, a sculpture, you're taking something abstract, an idea, a thought, a fear, and you're making it tangible. You're making it into something that can hold that energy that is outside of yourself. And figuring out what to make from raw material like this, that's creative. Using your creativity gives you a sense of control when you might not be feeling terribly in control of things. The cool thing about working with newspaper is you can make it as big as you want. You can also make it as small as you want. Another wonderful thing about this is you're allowing your hands to take over. As you begin the process, allow yourself to change. Also, the act of crunching up newspaper, it's fun. Your hands might get a little dirty. You'll wash them afterwards. So don't do it on your favorite white tablecloth. Do it on a table where it's okay. Some really fascinating things have happened with this. I can give you an example. I was working with an 8-year-old girl in a psychiatric facility. So anyway, it started with a ball, and she said, let's make a snowman. So we made a head. Then we made a second ball a little larger. And then she looked at it and she said, what if we made legs on it instead of making a third ball? I said, sure. So we made something similar to this. We cut it in half, turned this into the foot by just taping it. We connected it to the body. And then we had legs on a body and a head. And all of a sudden, she started turning it into a human. And the more she worked on it, she said, I want to give it hair like my brother. My brother has really great natty hair. Can we make hair on it like my brother? I said, sure. What does that look like? Over the course of 6 weeks, this became a model of her brother. He was her only friend and confidant that she missed very much because she wasn't able to see him. The more that she worked on it, the more she began to talk about her brother and her stories, about things that had happened at home. And the next day was the first time that she started talking about the abuse that happened to her and her brother when they were living in the parental home. Something was happening. She was creating something with her own hand, in her own time. What I did was assist her in creating what she decided she wanted to create. And I was with her in this process she was able to put her own meaning on her work and eventually use it to tell her story. I have a lot of stories like that. I've had a few kids who created swords, and we would make a hilt on it, and we would decorate it and paint it gold, and then they would hold it, and then we would get into some drama activities and play activities. You had the power to hold this sword like King Arthur. Maybe you're the only one who can take this sword from the stone. How would that feel to be holding it and experiencing that kind of power? Another person used it to represent the chemotherapy that was fighting the cancer. We played that out in the privacy of the therapy room. What would you say to the cancer cells if your sword represented the chemo that was going to attack and destroy those cells, and allow yourself to feel within your body what that would feel like? Art therapy is so much more than arts and crafts, and I wanted to give you a little taste of what you could do with that. At the same time, you also could just use it to make fun little creatures. It's really about using your imagination as you work with your hands. Carl Jung said, often the hands will solve a mystery that the intellect has struggled with in vain. I really agree with that. And using a technique like that really shows you how that is true. Let me know if you try this, what comes out, and I'd love to hear from you. You can reach me at www.carlarosearttherapy.com. See you soon.